What is going on, you guys? Welcome to a brand new episode of the Growth Grit Grind podcast. Today, we are doing a little bit of training or kind of a discussion, and these pop up when either we don't have a guest that's coming in to talk to us about their business, or something happened over the week or the past week with a client or a conversation that we had that sparked this train of thought, and we feel like it would be valuable to this audience, which this audience is entrepreneurs, business leaders, business owners, organizational leaders, entrepreneurs that are out there that are trying to learn about starting a business. We think that these things would be valuable to that entire audience. So what we're going to be talking about today is 10 tactics that you can use to ensure that you boost your lead generation and ultimately increase your sales. So I'm going to run through these. We're going to talk about them a little bit, and I hope it's valuable to you. This is all information that you could use today in your business, whether you are working with someone like us, a marketing agency, or you are doing it in-house. You can absolutely make sure that these things are being done. So let's just start at the top. Number one is you want to ensure that your website is optimized for conversions, meaning that you have made it easy for visitors to take whatever action you're wanting them to take. If it is fill out a form, if it is to call you, if it is to text you, if it is to follow you, if it is to fill out anything at all that you're wanting them to do, you have to make sure that your website is optimized for those things. So I've seen multiple websites to where you go, you land on a homepage. It looks like an old school traditional, like it's just the text is bad. There's so much text. There's very little visual. There's nothing appealing about it, but then there's nothing that's compelling me to do anything. If anything, I could dig through it and start doing some research, and I go up here and I click about us, and then I go over here and I'm like, features, and like I click all these different buttons, but there's nothing that's drawing me in to try to pull my attention. So we've talked in the past about having some type of lead magnet or something that you're offering. For us, I would say, like, on our website, if you go to our website, there's several places where it's ask you if you want to book a discovery call. It's completely free. It's complimentary. We're going to talk to you. We're going to talk about your business. We're going to talk about what your goals are. We're going to talk about things you've done in the past, and then we're going to make some suggestions. And then ultimately, we hope to work with you. But at the end of the day, if you leave the call with just some valuable information, we've also done our job, because it's going to make you curious. You're either going to go back to the company that you're working with now and go, hey, why are we not doing these things? And why does it look this way? And why this and why that? We're going to pose some questions that you're going to want to have answered. And then ultimately, you may give us a call down the road when you decide that the company you're with is no longer being effective, or you're in the middle. You're doing a lot of it yourself, and you hit a certain point where you go, you know what? I can't do this all. I'm not being effective in the business at all. I need to focus on growing the business and growing the team and building them up. I don't need to be in the weeds of like doing the marketing and advertising. I need to work with somebody, and you wind up reaching out to us or someone like us. So you want to make sure that your website is optimized for those conversions. You want to be telling them what they should be doing. If someone lands on your website, they were obviously interested for one reason or another. They want some information. They want to know something. They're looking for a solution. And again, you, at the end of the day, may not even be selling your actual product. And some of you need to realize that. Your product is not always what you actually need to be presenting to people. It's not always what you're selling. You may go, wait a minute, what are you talking about? What I mean is that the things that we sell, physical or service-based like us, it's not always what you're actually presenting to people. So for example, if I needed to drill a hole in this wall and I did not have a drill, I don't go to Home Depot and I'm like looking at all these benefits and all these different features, and it's got fancy lights on it, things like that. I just need a hole in my wall. I need to drill a hole in my wall. That's why I'm there to buy a drill. I could care less about the drill. I just need to get a hole in the wall. Same thing as like you want to talk about like the vacations. There's a plane and you're going to do this and you're going to check in, and we make check-in easy. We make all that. All people care about is the beach. Like, they want the destination. They don't care about the stuff in between. Like, they want the beach. Yeah, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm one of those that I want to make sure I check for a nonstop flight and things like that. So there's a couple little steps in between. But what I'm getting at is, like, for us, we sell time. We sell time back for companies that are trying to do digital marketing and advertising themselves, and they're not doing it probably at the highest level. They don't know all the ins and outs. They're just clicking buttons and doing what they can to make it happen. And maybe they've seen some success, but they reach a certain point where they go, I don't need to be doing this anymore. I don't have time to do this. I need to be focused on continuing to grow my team, to build them up. I need to be doing systems and processes. I need to be really focused on other things outside of like making sure we posted a Facebook ad or updated the ad that's running on Instagram, or got a video created, or did a explanation video, or crafted a new funnel, or did email automations. I need to be focusing on everything else. I need to hire someone to come do that. So we sell time back is what we do. And so for you, you may sell something that's emotional based. You may sell convenience. You may sell something that makes people money. Like, that's ultimately, you're selling the solution is what you're ultimately doing. But you need to make sure that people can contact you and people can reach out to you and you have a clear call to action. When people land on that website, why are they landing on the website? Number one, you should know what keywords and things like that they're hitting your website for, but you know what you do. So if you have a pop-up that pops up and says, are you looking for more information on this? Fill out this form and we'll send it to you for free. Or are you looking to book a call to discover more about what we do? Click this button here and we'll be in contact with you in 24 to 48 hours. Make it easy for people to reach out to you and for people to say, yes, raise my hand. I'm interested. I want more info. Tell me more about this. Make it very easy for people to do that. Speaking of ads and what we do, you want to leverage social media ads and digital ads in general is that you want to make sure you're reaching your target audience effectively. A lot of times I see companies communicating to who they think their target audience is, but if you don't genuinely know who they are, then you may not even be speaking their language. If you're presenting your products to men between the ages of 25 and 45, but your actual buyers are women between the ages of 25 and 35, all of your language is geared towards men and a problem you may solve for them, but in reality, it's their wives buying it or their spouse or their significant other. They're the ones actually purchasing, and you should be speaking to them. Are you looking for the perfect gift for your husband or significant other? Instead of directing it more towards the males. But you have to know that information first. Once you do, you can leverage social media ads to target exactly who your people are. And if you don't know who your people are, it shouldn't take you very much to dig through that information, looking at your past customers, looking at historical clients, and going back and going, who are our ideal customer, who purchases, who does business with us the most. You can build a digital ad that targets those people directly. And ideally, you want to take your email list, and I'm giving you a freebie there, but we talked about email list in a couple of videos I put out recently. You want to take your email list and you want to plug that into social ads, and you want to say, hey, here's a bunch of email addresses from historic clients. This is who our customers are, and I want you to build me a lookalike audience based off of it. If you don't know what a lookalike audience is, like I say in my videos, you should probably be talking to us, but you can build a lookalike audience, and it'll help you find out who your avatar is and who your customer base is, and it may be vastly different than who you think it is. So I encourage you to do that, but you need to be leveraging those social media ads. It is and I will stand on this soapbox until it's not true, it is the most cost-effective form of marketing and advertising that's available to anybody today. You can reach more people in less time with less money than anything else that you could possibly do. Next, utilizing Google PPC. You want to bid on, going back to keywords, you want to bid on relevant keywords, like why are people hitting my website? That's number one. You need to know that. If you don't have Google AdWords, you don't have anything set up to do that, there's other services that you can subscribe to that can help you find out why people are hitting your website or why people are looking you up. You need to know those things, and you need to bid on some of those words on Google AdWords. One that's super easy is obviously you could bid on your company's name. I would be willing to bet, depending on the size of your company, there are other companies that are bidding on your company name because you're the competitor, and they want to pop up and be top of mind or be in front of people when people are thinking of you. Now, yes, are there some that they are just simply Googling your name because they already are a customer and they're looking for your phone number and they don't remember where the phone number is and they're not ever going to click on the competitor? Sure. But does it work? Yes. And it's usually a low-cost keyword, meaning that there's not hundreds of thousands of people searching for your company. Maybe there are, but reality is most of you, there are not. And so to be able to bid on that keyword that's a specific your company's name, it's inexpensive. It's not a whole lot of money. Now, that being said, is you could also be bidding on some of your competitors' keywords. But find out what your relative keywords are. Why are people landing on your site? We go back to that once again. Why are people landing on your website? What solution do you provide? What problem do you solve? Those are the keywords you need to be going after. And if you don't understand Google PPC or how to do the keywords or the different types of how you type them in, whether it's a direct match or a phrase match, you should probably be reaching out to us. If anything, have a call with us, but you can also Google a lot of these things. You can go find some of these out. Does not necessarily mean that you're going to execute at the highest level or you're going to be a seasoned professional overnight or even within a couple of years, but you can understand the basics and you can understand how you can go bid on those keywords. But absolutely, bidding on Google keywords is a little bit pricier than running, say, social ads, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. It's going to be, take back YouTube, but Facebook and Instagram specifically, it's going to be more expensive than those for sure, and even TikTok. But it's very relative, is that you are bidding on a keyword that someone is actually searching. Whereas on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, you're kind of just popping up in somebody's feed that was watching dog and cat videos or checking in with the family. This way, you're actually able to get in front of people who are searching for you or for things that you do. Going forward, you need to create compelling landing pages. That goes back to kind of your website. Landing pages are separate from your website. They can be built inside of your website, but also outside of your website. So if you're running paid ads to what we call a lead magnet, which means some type of offer that you're either offering help or a call or a download or a discount or something. You're offering something. You need to make sure that your landing pages are very compelling, meaning that you tell them exactly what they're going to get in exchange for what. Be very clear, very precise. Tell them what it is, tell them what it isn't. But you have to communicate value. Is from the very beginning, you need to be communicating value. You need to tell them, hey, they clicked on it. They're already interested, but you got to keep their attention. And the audience will let you know if it's good or not. They clicked on it, so that's step one. You already know that you got something there. Now, maybe it needs to be tweaked a little bit. Usually what happens that I see, people that try to run landing pages on their own, is that they get to the landing page and it wasn't compelling enough and they didn't feel warm and fuzzy. And so they backed out. They went back to what they were doing. But you had them. Like, they were there. They were interested. They were listening. But then you got them over to the landing page and there wasn't enough value on that landing page. And also, it wasn't optimized enough to make them convert. There needs to be buttons like throughout the page that tell them, hey, click. If you're done reading and you're interested in signing up, or you want information, or you want to spend money, click this button. You do it right now. You don't have to read all the rest of it. But then as you go down it, you have testimonies and you have reviews and you have selling points of what your product is and what you're offering. Another button. Just keep them going. And you want to make sure that, if you are charging people for something, you want to make sure it is a secure checkout and that they feel like it is a secure checkout, all of those things. But you need to create really compelling landing pages. But that just goes back to, you need to be expressing what your product does for them. You need to be implementing email marketing. Touched on this briefly, but you need to be implementing email marketing. If you have a list of any kind, you not only need to be plugging it into Facebook and telling it to build you a lookalike audience, you need to be communicating with them at a minimum, at an absolute minimum, like a quarterly newsletter, but it needs to be more frequent than that, realistically. You need to tell them about new products. You need to tell them about changes. You need to tell them about value. You need to tell them how-tos. You need to show them behind the scenes. You need to do all the things that we preach about social, but you need to also communicate it through email. You don't want to spam them. I'm one of those that if I get more than an email from you a week, then I'm out. I'm unsubscribing. Even if I was interested, I'll unsubscribe and I'll still go visit your site or check out your social or whatever, but I will unsubscribe from that email list. You don't want to spam people. Also, it hurts when you're running this email campaigns, whatever software, whether we're running it for you or you subscribe to like MailChimp or something like that, it hurts your score. As people start opting out and marking you as spam and unsubscribing, it hurts your score. It's going to hurt deliverability. It's going to hurt everything. So just be careful with that. I would say realistically, if you want to do something once a month, maybe even a couple times a month, you could probably get away with it. Once a month is probably fine, but it has to be for a reason. You have to have a reason. It's not just, hey, wanted to pop in and see if you want to buy yet. It can't be that. It's got to be a reason. You got to be talking about a new product or an offer or something that you're putting in front of them. Going into that. Number 6 is offer irresistible. I'm referencing my notes a little bit if you see me doing that, but offer irresistible lead magnets. You have to provide value in exchange for something. We talked about the landing pages, and this is a little bit out of order, but it's just going down the list. Is you have to provide value. There has to be a reason. They have to have a reason. You have to sell them on why they should give you, at a minimum, their email address. You have to offer them something. So I'll give you a good example. As we work with a company that is a beverage company, and we offered a opt-in, and the opt-in was for the purchaser to still spend money, but it was at a heavy discount. But in exchange, all we asked for was an email address, and that email address was to send the offer back to them. It was a discount or a coupon code. So that's all we asked. But the offer was overwhelming, is that it was significantly reduced from the standard price. And it's something people desired and people wanted. And we got really creative with the targeting and who we were going after and things like that. But it was a very compelling offer. Another one that we've ran in the past has been like a PDF of like, you want to know how to do personal finance. And we're going to give you our cheat sheet and show you exactly how we would build out your personal finance and how you can make sure and be successful with personal finance. Give us your email address and we'll give you this free guide, or maybe it's an Excel spreadsheet that's auto-populated. You just have to enter numbers in it and it tells you exactly what you should be spending and not spending. You have to have something that's extremely valuable. And again, just because it seems valuable to you, it may not have enough perceived value to the person out there. So there is some testing that's involved, is that you may have to up the ante. You may have to say, hey, we have the personal budget planner, but then we also have the savings planner or the retirement planner. Maybe you have to bundle some things. Maybe it's free. Maybe it costs a little bit. Free lead magnets obviously typically convert better, but if you want a warmer lead, then sometimes adding something that's of a purchase is you can get a little bit more intent with those. So moving forward, is you want to have engaging content marketing, is that you want to continually educate and engage your audience. Is that education is huge. When people feel like that you're providing value to them and that they've learned something from you, you've gained their ear. And so the next thing that you come back with, whether it is that lead magnet, it's that click here, opt in, get my list, or get my, financial planner, whatever it is that you're offering, get my ebook, get my calculator, get my course, whatever it is that you're offering next, they're more than likely to listen to. Gary Vee wrote a book years ago that was called Jab, 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 Left Hook. And that was the principle, is that you jab, 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 you're giving them something, giving them something, giving them something. And then you go in for kind of that hook, which is kind of the knockout punch. Is so you need to be providing value constantly, and your social media can do that for you. You can also just engage them. Is that I love when I see companies asking questions and asking for input, this or that, or providing behind the scenes looks. I appreciate that because I think it adds a little bit of personal element to it, and people feel like they get to know you a little bit. And they get to know the people behind the logo or behind the brand. So create that engaging content. And I promise you that it's not going to turn the wheel overnight. It's not going to move the needle overnight. But in the long run, if you continue to do it, you're going to have more and more people that are going to engage with it. And at the end of the day, it's going to make your business better. Moving forward, utilize video marketing. Y'all already know that I'm a huge proponent of video. You're watching one right now. But utilize video marketing. If I had to say just a couple of things about video, is that number one, statistically, it's engaged with higher than static post or graphics. It's delivered to more people typically than static graphics or images. But there's also data and analytics that you get that you will not with video that you would not get with a static graphic. So static graphic, you're going to know how many people it reached, maybe base impressions, how many people liked it, shared it, commented on it, things like that. But with video, you're able to repurpose that data. Is you're actually able to know how many people watched it and for how long. Is the number of views is simple, but knowing how long people watched it is a game changer, because that tells you intent or level of interest. If someone sits back and watches a 60-second video, they had some interest, because the attention span of the average person, that 5 seconds, 3 seconds, they're scrolling right past it. So if they stayed there and watched for 30 seconds or 50 or 60 or 90 seconds, it's measured in percentages with digital ads. So you actually can go back in and say, hey, everyone who watched that video that we posted a couple of weeks ago, and whether you ran it as an ad and got tons and tons of video views, or you ran it organically and got a decent amount of video views, you can say, I want to retarget the people that watched half of it, because they're more interested than the people that only watched 10 or 15% of it. So I want to start, typically that's where we start. Sometimes we start as low as like 25%, depending on how long the video is. But usually we're in the like 30 to 50% range, is that we want to target those people again with probably a irresistible lead magnet. Is, hey, you watched our video, you're interested for one reason or the other. Let's see if we can nudge them to the next stage in the pipeline. Next, leverage influencer partnerships. This could be big or small, and all of you have seen it. The influencer marketing space has exploded over the last 5 or 8 years. It's always really been a thing, but you've definitely seen it pop up more. There are platforms out there now that you can engage these influencers, and there's different tiers of influencers. Obviously, like there's some that may have 10,000 followers. There's some that have millions and millions of followers. The price point changes based on their level of following. So, and again, you want to make sure that you are aligning with someone that fits the brand. If you do makeup, there's a lot of options out there for you. But if you do, I don't even know, if you do dog tag necklaces, that's a very specific audience. And you want to make sure that whoever you're putting in front of your audience aligns with that audience. So, and that was a crazy example, but it's literally the first thing that came to my head, which, hey, I tell clients all the time, like when we come up with some of these video ideas that we come up with, and by no means are we the Harmon brothers, but we come up with some pretty unique stuff and some pretty awesome stuff that helps sell a product or present a product in a very unique way that most people wouldn't think of. And I tell people that sometimes my brain's kind of a scary place, is that the ideas and thoughts that come up. And I would say that's why we get hired sometimes more often than not, is like, I don't need to sell your product, say, hey, here's my shiny, whistle. Here's my whistle. I want to show people all the fun things you can do with that whistle. I want to show you off the wall stuff that no one would ever actually use a whistle for, but we're going to do it in a video. Is that I want to do that. But that's where my brain goes. But yeah, leveraging influencer partnerships, and it could be, there's so many different avenues for that. It could be anything. And if you need an idea, I mean, look, go to ChatGPT, ask it, tell it what your business is, and ask it how you can engage with an influencer marketer. But the reality is that you're basing it on their following. Is if they have a huge local following in your area and you are a local-based business, then you being engaged with them and then going, oh my gosh, they like their barbecue, so I would probably like their barbecue. I'm going to go check out their barbecue. It's as simple as that. So, but do it with a grain of salt. I would definitely say it's important, and I would do it. I think it's a great avenue to go down, but I would manage expectations with cost. As I would decide, what makes sense for us to do this. If we're going to experiment with an influencer space, then what makes sense to us? And if you are in kind of the restaurant space, obviously you go after You could bring in food bloggers. You could bring in, food influencer that are local to your area. They're probably less expensive to get in. There's some of them that might even do it for free as a collaboration, but just again, manage expectation with cost. What does their following look like and what is it going to cost me to bring them in? And then kind of do some rough math. If I had X number of people buy or purchase or come in based on this influencer's post, and ask the right questions. Ask them, how many followers they have. What does their engagement look like on their average post? And then take what they say and then you go look. And you may not be able to see all of the analytics, but you can absolutely scroll through some of their posts and find something that's similar to yours or at least in the same lane and go look. Like, how many reactions did they get? How many comments did they get? What were the comments saying? Was it a bunch of spam stuff trying to sell t-shirts and things like that in their comments? Or was it legitimately, I'm going to check this out. This looks awesome. And this applies not just restaurant. This could be anything. Any brand can work with influencers. State Farm, obviously working with Patrick Mahomes and doing their whole thing with them. And obviously they're probably paying him millions of dollars to do that. But people watch it. They think it's funny. They've engaged a level of humor in it. Not quite as humorous as I would make it, but hey, who am I, right? But that's just an example, obviously on a very, very high end. Last but not least, and this was a somewhat shorter podcast, I want to try to get through these as quickly as possible because they're all things that you guys could go implement right away. Didn't want to make it super lengthy. But number 10 is automate lead generation. Is that we go back to social ads. You can be running social ads and doing those different things, but even beyond there. So let's use Facebook as an example. Facebook, if you do an on Facebook lead form, it drops that lead into Facebook's lead center, which Facebook, don't get mad at me, it's not great. It's kind of like a mini CRM. You can go in, you can add some tags, you can add some notes and some different things like that. But the reality is it's just not great. And who else wants another CRM platform? I don't know about your company, but I have 35 logins, it feels like some days, for the different programs and softwares that we use. And sometimes I have to log into a client software because they're not on our platform. So it gets challenging and no one else wants that either. So what I would encourage you to do is automate that process. So I'll give you an example about us, and it's something that you can do too. So when I say we do this, I'm not just trying to hard sell you on us, I'm saying that anyone could do this as well. So understand that is we automate the lead gen process. So for example, using Facebook, when they fill out a Facebook lead form, which is the most cost effective versus us sending over to a lead form that is on their website or something like that. We can do that, but again, just most cost effective and usually the most productive after testing. Is we have them fill out that Facebook lead form. It could be anything. It could be first name, last name. It could be just email. It could be a gamut of things. It could be an entire lengthy form where they give us all types of information and check boxes and things like that. Well, that lead form, our CRM picks that information up, puts it inside of our client's account that we have. Every single one of our clients have their own account in our CRM. They're able to use it if they'd like to. Most of them do not because they have their own platform. But then we have automatic notifications that are built in there. So the simplest of processes is fill out the Facebook lead form, gets dropped into their CRM account, and then there's an email and or a text that goes out to the client and says, hey, you have a new lead, tells it all of the information, tells it where it came from, what campaign it came from, whatever information they want in that notification. Most of them are like, give me the details and that's all I need. I need to know first name, last name, phone number. That's what I need. Some of them obviously a little more detailed. It's about a construction project. They want to know exactly what the client said they're wanting to do. So we could try to provide some type of ballpark quote or at least schedule an appointment to go out and give a quote. Some of them that get a little more lengthy is that we can do full lead qualification through that. So I'll give you an example. Facebook lead form gets filled out. It takes them through a process. Is once that lead comes in, it goes into their system, into the CRM on our end, and then it sends out an email initially. It sends out an email and it says, hey, this is so-and-so. Thank you for filling out our information request form. Here's the information we received. We want to verify that all this information is correct. And then we wait for them to reply. There's commands and different things that are built out. So when they reply and they say, yeah, everything's great, that then sends a notification to the client and tells them, hey, there's a brand new verified lead. Here's the information. If they respond back no, and they say, no, that some of that information is correct. One thing about Facebook is it allows for pre-fill information. So you can have someone that uses a joint Facebook account. They could have entered in an old cell phone number when they first joined Facebook and they've never changed it. They could have had their location based on where they used to live. There's a lot of different things that can mess up one of those lead forms, and we want to give them the opportunity to correct it. So if they say, no, that's not my information anymore, then they get sent in an email a new link. And the link says, here's our information revision form. Fill this quick form out and we'll make sure we get your information out right away. Takes them to a simplified form. It's not as lengthy as the one on Facebook, but it takes them in there, allows them to correct their information. Once they send that one back, they said as soon as that form gets submitted, there's an automation that sends the client the notification, hey, got a verified lead for you. Now let's go back. If they do not respond to the email at all, we have a wait command that's built in that says wait a day. And after we've waited a day, we send them a text to the same number that they put on the form, and we ask them the same series of questions. Hey, this is so-and-so. We got your information. We want to send everything out to you. Is this information accurate? If they say yes, then it goes back directly to the client, automated email that says, hey, here's the information, verified lead. If they say no, guess what? They're getting the link to the information correction form, and they're able to fill that out. That goes directly to the client. And we have different wait commands built out. If they don't respond to the text, it kicks back over to email. If they don't respond to the email, it kicks back to text. I want to say that we've updated a lot of, 47 steps or something like that in that one workflow. But we did that. We built that out. And I don't want to make it sound like it's overwhelming. It's something that you can do too. There's a lot of software out there that you can do different automations for. There is Zapier. There is if this, then this. There's different platforms. It's not complicated, but I would say it's going to take some time. You're going to have to sit there and kind of figure it out. And you also have to make sure that your different softwares can talk to it and that it has correct API to do the connections. Or you can call us because we can connect to most of them. So if you're looking to try to make that process automated, and the reason you want it automated is for a few different things. Number one, you can make sure that whoever is responsible for lead follow-up and closing and appointment setting and whatever else that you guys do, that they're doing their job and that nothing slips through the cracks and that they're on top of it. If it's not automated and someone's having to go back and check Facebook every day, they're not going to be on top of it. There's no way. They're doing their normal job, but then also supposed to go check Facebook. It's just not the reality. So we want to make sure that whatever we can do to speed up that process, and if you've spent any time in sales at all, then you know first one to the lead typically wins. It's an old saying. It's not always true. Sometimes they're really looking for value or a significant partner or something like that where they want to know that they're picking the right person. But a lot of times the first person to get in front of them gets the sale. So we want to make sure that as soon as that information comes in for a client, that you're able to reach out to them, communicate with them, if not already have it automated to where it's doing it for you. And if they feel that immediate touch point, they feel like that you're going to be on top of it down the road too. Does that make sense? Like if you are that on top of it from the very beginning, then it assures them that their level of customer service, that your level of customer service is going to be that way down the road too. So it encourages them to want to do business with you. But I hope that this was helpful. We went about 26 minutes, so I didn't know exactly how long this was going to go. I knew I had about 10 points I wanted to make my way through, but I really do. I hope that this is helpful. There are so many things that you can be doing to ensure that you get quality lead flow coming into your business. At the end of the day, for most businesses, and leads can look a whole lot different for different types of business. Some leads, you're retail and the lead is someone walking through the front door. Or if you sell online outside of that retail and you go, that's someone saying, I'm interested in buying that. Leads can be someone inquiring about software or service. Leads can be different things, but ultimately leads and traffic lead to sales. There is a certain conversion point. Some of you may have a higher percentage than others. Some may have a really low percentage. It may take you 100 people talking to get one sale. It may take you 1,000. But if your dollar amount for that one far exceeds what you've spent, then you're winning at the end of the day. Your ROI looks fantastic. So every business, I don't care what it is, from ours to landscaping, to construction, to healthcare, dental, it does not matter. Leads are a lifeblood for most businesses, if not all businesses. So I hope that some of these things that we've said here made a light bulb go off, maybe a couple of them that you go, yeah, our website is not great and we're not telling people to do anything, or we don't really engage with our content marketing. We're not asking questions. We're not giving them clear and precise instructions on what we want them to do next. I hope these are things that you can implement. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Look, if you have not subscribed to the YouTube, we've got another round of awesome guests that are coming up, and I can't wait to have them on here to talk to you more. If you haven't watched some of the previous episodes, we've got some incredible folks that have been on there that have shared a wealth of information for entrepreneurs and business leaders. So again, I want to say thank you for watching. I want to say thank you for all of you that have subscribed. I want to say thank you for the ones that have kind of dropped some comments or some likes. Even the emails that have come in. Also, if you're interested in being a guest on the show, we have a couple of parameters. We want to make sure that we're able to reach our target audience and that we're able to get in front of the right people. And we have valuable people on the podcast that can bring value to the entire audience. So we have a couple of parameters, but not anything crazy. But if you're interested, drop a comment. We'll be sure to respond to those, get you the link over there so you can fill out the form if you're interested in being on the podcast. So again, thank you guys for watching. If you haven't subscribed, do that. And we'll see you guys next time.